Okay, so Bodmas here with question 16, right? It's useful sometimes just to write that down, and we can apply that then idea throughout these questions. Now, when it comes to the first one, all right, there's no brackets here, but you see we've got that power of there, yeah? That's where the O comes in, right? You know, the O in the power of, okay, and this, you know, you think of that as the square of 5, yeah? The square of 5. So we're squaring 5. And that's what I'd work out first. So, you know, it's okay, we'll do our workings over here. We've got 200 here. I'm going to leave that as it is. And I'm going to leave that subtract in place. And I'm going to leave the 2 in place. And I'm just going to work out what that 5 squared is. Now remember, 5 squared means times 5 by itself. Yeah? So, you know, that's all the 5 squared is. Write it down if it helps you. Okay, it just means times 5 by itself. And of course, 5 times 5 is 25. And then, when it comes then, we've worked out the square of, what we've got left now, of course, is take away and the times. So the take away, of course, is subtracting here, and the times is the multiply. You can see quite clearly we've got to multiply before we subtract. So we've got to multiply these here. 2 times 25, of course, is 50, right? So we can work that out. 2 times 25 is 50, and then we take them away. And that's easy to do. 200 take away 50, of course, then is 150. All right? When it comes to the second one, okay, there's a bracket there, but they're essentially saying to square it, okay? So the bracket can disappear when we appreciate that the power outside is telling us then we've got a times by itself, yeah? Inside the bracket is just 0.1. There's actually nothing to work out in here. Okay, it's not as if we've got to add anything or anything. We've just got 0.1, so we can just leave the bracket alone. We can sort of get rid of it when we then apply that power. Okay, the squared, and you know, times it by itself. Now, when you times decimals, remember, of course, when you times decimals, we just ignore the decimal point. Okay, and we just times the numbers that are there. So if we ignore the decimal point, well, that's just 0, 1, which would be 1. That's 0, 1, which is 1, and of course 1 times 1 is 1, yeah? But in terms of our overall answer for this here, when you come, you know, 1 times 1 is 1, that's easy, but when it comes to this here, 0.1 times 0.1, what we need to do is recognize we've got 2 decimal places in our question. Okay, so there's 1 there, 1 there, 1 decimal there, 1 decimal there, 2 decimals in total, which means there must be 2 decimals in our answer. So when I worked out 1 times 1 here is 1, to have 2 decimals in the answer, we need to put 0, 1 as our 2 decimals. You can see that, yeah? And then, of course, a decimal point before it, and then a 0. So you can see I've happily then got 2 decimals in my answer, just as there are 2 decimals in the question. So the answer is 0.01. When it comes to the last one, okay, yes, you've got a bracket here. Okay, so we need to work out inside the bracket first, okay? And remember, squaring here, so we can leave that maybe as 10 cubed. Squaring is times by itself, so 8 times 8 is 64, 6 times 6 is 36, okay, so work that out to start with, the square of them. Then we'll add in these brackets, okay, so that will be, if you add them, it's actually 100, the bracket disappears. And then, you know, we need to know what 10 cubed means. Now remember, when you're cubing, you're times it by itself again, so 10 times 10 times 10, right? That's what 10 cubed is. Of course, that's easy, isn't it? Because that comes to 1,000. 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 is 1,000. So we end up having 1,000 divided by 100. And of course, 1,000 divided by 100, well, 100 goes into 1,000 exactly 10 times. So that's my answer there.